Hello, my friends. This is Qing Hong here. With the return of spring, the birds returned too. And today I want to share with you how I paint a purple bird. I actually taught this painting at my Zoom class, so here is a recording with my full narration on the process. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started.
So here I'm starting with the eye. And I love to paint eyes. So here what I'm doing is I use yellow ochre to create this shape of this eye first. So there's face, there's water in it. And then I drop in darker color. So the darker color is going to diffuse naturally rather than have this edge. You know, in our true eyes, there's really never that clear-cut edge. So see that I come in with a mixture of burnt amber and violet and drop that in, and notice how that's fusing out naturally. And I do leave out the white as a highlight. And I'm very careful with the tip of my brush to brush in colors. And here, clear water, a sweep, create that opening again. So yeah, with water, we have opening. Now opening, then closing again with stronger pigment to define this edge of the eye. For me, this painting, I really want to have the eye stand out. So I'm paying attention to it. So again, here, use clear water. I'm diffusing, opening the edge. See that? Yes. So this will help the eye to set in the face of the little bird rather than just floating in the universe. So this gives more liveness. Okay, I feel like that's pretty ready. Then I'm going to go on with the next of the face of the bird. So again, I use water to just make some mark. Because I have no pencil sketch, I can go wrong. But with water, I have the indication of where the location of the feature without really committing. When I'm happy with that, and then dropping some color. Here I'm dropping in some blue, so it's not purple, but that's okay. I'm still creating this space for more things to come. And with light color, I have less risk. So I have more, I can add darker later. So I'm just still creating, feeling into the face, not committing too early. Once I feel, okay, this is right, then I put in darker color to really define it, like right now. And that actually give it a richness of color between blue and purple. And now notice where there's no water, you have all the edge. And that is really wonderful to give that natural feathery effect without painting every tiny feather. That's another effortless way of creation. So here, another technique I didn't mention, but here you are, is to smudge with your finger. Your finger is a wonderful brush that you are born with, and it works great for me when I want to lose some edge, but I don't want to add water. See, with a brush, you always have some water, but with your finger, you will not have to have that. So it's going to give you a really roughened edge and softened edge. And here comes the true learning of myself for this process. And we talk about breathe life into the painting, all this class. But the most important thing that wants to breathe is the artist ourselves. So do you notice that when you are doing something, you are holding your breath, you forgot to breathe, you really were nervous or tensed up. That's actually how I was feeling at this point. I was really getting nervous. Why? Because for this painting, I wasn't painting really just for myself. I'm painting for you guys, and it will be a demo. So from there, there's actually something else in my mind kicked up. So in addition to, I just want to be one with this beautiful bird, my feeling wants to be accepted, wants to be approved by others, start to kick in. So that becoming this contraction, and that become the limitation for me. And when looking back, I noticed I wasn't really breathing myself. So, you know, when I was painting, I would pay attention to how my body was feeling. And there are times I have a good awareness that I was not breathing. Then I would just take deep breaths and let myself continue to breathe. But for this one, I forgot to breathe. I forgot to have that. I didn't have that awareness. So from this point on, the eye looks good, but I was so nervous. I was not breathing, and I started to mess up with the shapes. And I couldn't even see what's the shape, how to do it. So I'm going to continue. You will see I'm starting to make mistakes, which is okay, of course. And that's just where I am in my learning as an artist and as a person. Sometimes it's just hard to get out of that space, but now I finally did. And now I can breathe. I've just passed that. So how do I breathe with watercolor? Just use water, like we're talking about OS class. So I use clear water to paint the big shape of this bird. And that is going to give me the advantage that for the water to, for the pigment to diffuse naturally. And notice that I left some space on the paper, and that's really important. So you don't cover it all with water. And now see, I got pigment in, and it's beautifully fused. And I was like, oh, this is so beautiful. This is watercolor. This is why I love it. It has this softness, this fuzziness, just like the feather. So I used a mixture of, I think it's violet with a little bit of alizarin crimson. So it's a little bit more reddish violet, reddish purple. And I definitely see some blue in there. And also notice that I didn't put pigments all over the water. I let it diffuse and leave some space in between. So there's this breathing space and this lightness you can leave out. So these lightness are not painted, but left out. And now when I'm happy with what's happening, I go in with darker color. Again, with big contrast, you create this focus. And I put my darkest around the eyes, around the head to create that focus. So because of the time, I'm actually going to just pause here and go to the next phase when I started to zoom in on the head, okay? So here, what we have here is what I did with the bird. And this the moment, and again, another aha moment. Wow, this bird is really not working out. So I like how the head was looking, but for this part of the body, it was a mess. A mess was okay, and we have to go through chaos to get clarity. But I realized what happened was I didn't understand the position of the hands or the feet of the birds with that stick. I didn't understand what she was doing, so I couldn't paint it right. Only afterwards I understand, but that was too late. So I got this far, and I look at this painting. Honestly, I was feeling I need to throw this out window. It's just not working, and I don't like it. I was frustrated, like I couldn't do my demonstration, and I have all these animals I need to feed. How can I find time to do another demonstration video? But then that's a moment I start to have an opening. So, you know, because I've messed up watercolor for so much, too much, that I have learned There's always something good in your painting. Like Qing just said, there's always something good. So I just helped myself to look at it one more time. And I realized, well, the body was a mess, but the head looks pretty good. The eyes are clear. There's a spirit that's coming out. The feather was good. So I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to throw it out. I will just continue working on the head. So here's what I did next. So I start to come into the head. And this time, you can call it a second layer. There's not much water. I'm creating focus. When I create focus, I don't want much water. It's almost just a moist brush with pure pigment. And I'm looking at my bird photo and looking where the darkest dark. I want to hit it. So see, I'm not painting every detail. I'm painting this value system, this value pattern of the bird. The darkest dark, I hit it. And as soon as you put new darks, it's going to change the whole dynamic of this value system, a value pattern you're already on there. So be prepared to adjust. Like for now, my eye was looking good, but now because I put more darkness next to it, the eye needs to be strengthened. So this is just a dynamic, very subtle. Take your time and to adjust it. And this can be very risky. And you may be like, oh, I don't want to touch it, look good. Yeah, that happens too. So if you feel like that, just leave it. If you feel like, okay, I will play and see if I can mess it up even more, then go ahead. And this is just what I'm doing. I thought I can at least show you how to add details, texture on the bird. So I was happy that at that point, I started to breathe. I was no longer trying to create a successful demo for the students because it was not successful, but I was just more in a pure mind, just want to show you the technique, how to add more dimension, more depth, more texture. And I relaxed, I start to breathe, I have opening, and this start to flow. Yeah, when we have opening, then there's flow. So I'm really starting to enjoy painting the head, and I'm roughing the feathers with my brush. It's almost dry, leaving some mark. And then I smudge it with my hand or with water. So here's a point that you can really do your feather, because the more you look at your reference photo, the more feathers you're going to see. The more feather you're going to see, you are going to want to put it on your painting. So this comes the point that just be aware, the more edges I'm putting in right now, you're going to have more blockage in the flow you already have. Okay, so just become aware and choose how much flow, how much edge you want. It's all personal. And for me, I love the beautiful flow that's already happening, and I don't want to block it. I just want to add a little bit, give it some texture. Some dry brush, give that a lovely, lovely effortless feathery effect. And as you are completing your painting, this also comes to a critical point that you no longer want to look at your reference photo, because that is a reference photo. You want to really look at your painting. This is new life you're creating right here. So put your reference photo away at this point, if you get there, and to just start looking at your painting and see what's needed. So I'm strengthening the second most important feature of my bird, and I quit messing with the feathers. Let's try to get the beak angle better. So this is really all very subtle, and you can break the balance easily, and that's okay. If you make a mistake, use your water. It's an eraser and will always help you. Okay, so this is a point I feel like I have this bird that's already looking fiercely at me, as if saying, that's enough. I'm here, I'm alive. You don't have to add more feathers for me. I got it. So I feel I got it. That's a moment I can stop. But I want to loosen up a little more, have more fun with it. So I did my favorite thing, just spatter something, and to give more of this roughness and aliveness. And I don't spatter everywhere. I spatter where it's around it. So there's a sense of air. And also I spatter the color that's close to the color I've been using. So it amplifies this subject. So here is this bird. The body's still a mess, and that's okay. We can clarify next time. But I'm pretty happy, yeah, at the end, how this bird turns out. And I'm so glad that I didn't throw it out the window, and I allow myself to really be with it, and to come back to a more pure mind to teach rather than seeking acceptance. And I love this bird. Oh, I just love her. So, okay, I will stop share.